Ron Weasley broke all the rules when he became the first Potter character to emerge from the friend zone. He was initially in with Hermione Granger, and in doing so, gave hope to so many men who were in a similar situation. There's hope, guys. There's hope. Anyway, good old Ron was the best friend of Harry Potter and basically went through everything alongside Harry over these 7 eventful years. He was Harry's right hand man and he did his best, but Ron didn't always get it right. He's gotten it badly wrong, and he's made some pretty awful decisions, so I went digging and I found the 5 worst things Ron Weasley has ever done. So let's kick it off with number 5. His jealousy of Harry's participation in the Triwizard Cup. Ron thought that the Triwizard Cup was the coolest event ever, especially as the school got to host it. On top of that, his idol Viktor Krum was residing in Hogwarts as he was Durmstrang's Triwizard champion. The follow-up edition of Beauxbatons was also warmly welcomed, with their champion Fleur Delacour a sight for sore eyes according to Mr. Weasley. It was a pretty exciting time in the wizarding world and for all the Hogwarts students, Ron in particular. That was until Harry's name got put in the Goblet of Fire, creating an additional Hogwarts champion and 4th overall, giving Hogwarts a somewhat unfair advantage according to many. As the Goblet of Fire created a binding magical contract, Harry had no choice but to participate. He really didn't want to and immediately questioned who would put his name forward. Ron didn't believe a word of this and somehow believed that Harry hoodwinked the Goblet of Fire to illegally force his name into it and to also be chosen as champion. It's clear as day that this kind of magic was so far beyond Harry's ability that even a fully qualified adult witch or wizard would struggle to conjure such magic correctly. Ron thought Harry was trying to steal the limelight once again, using his fame to boost the attention and focus to him. He actually fell out with Harry and the two stopped speaking. In reality, Ron was just incredibly jealous of Harry and his fame, and Harry participating in the Triwizard tournament made that even worse. He envied what Harry had, while coincidentally, Harry was jealous of what Ron had, a loving family. It was only when Ron seen the seriousness and unbelievable danger of the tournament from the very first task that the two boys made up and repaired their friendship. Number 4. Using lavender brown to make Hermione jealous. Ron wasn't exactly a ladies' man, I think that's clear, but it's not to say he didn't get any attention. I think he knew deep down that what he and Hermione had was real, even in the early days, long before anything ever materialised. Then Lavender Brown came along, and, well, you could say she was very keen on her Ron. It's not like Ron wasn't entirely into her either, he did like her, to some extent, and he gained some confidence from the relationship, as before that he had no experience and he'd never even kissed anyone. But the most important aspect of their union was the fact that he knew how much it bothered Hermione, and he played on that. See, Ron had done his time being jealous over Hermione and Viktor Krum, the Yule Ball possibly being the worst, most oppressive night of his life, so he happily used Lavender to make his real crush Hermione insanely jealous. He must have done something right because Lavender's feelings intensified daily. It actually got so intense that Ron just began avoiding her altogether and never technically ended the relationship with her, which is kinda unfair. He began spending more and more time with Hermione, infuriating Lavender more and more to the point that she just washed her hands of him. I think that this was definitely one of the worst things Ron has done due to the fact that he did not consider anyone else's feelings other than his own. Number 3. His awful behaviour at the Yule Ball. He wasn't the only one who behaved awfully at the Yule Ball. Harry Potter takes half of this, don't worry about that, if not more actually, but well, let's blame them equally for the purposes of this video. At the point of the 4th book, The Goblet of Fire, Ron and Hermione's feelings for each other were becoming obvious, and while Hermione was more open to them, Ron still refused to accept his newfound position of vulnerability due to these feelings. Except he actually did. Despite his initial crush on Fleur Delacour, Hermione was the one Ron's heart truly wanted. Yes, it took the stereotypical "I had to see her with someone else" in order to kick him into gear, you could say, but truth being, he wasn't going to ask Hermione to the ball. He was having thoughts of, imagine Hermione rejecting me. So with Harry wanting Cho but she's going with Cedric, and Ron wanting Hermione but she's going with Victor Krum, Harry and Ron then decide to take the Patil twins, two absolutely beautiful sisters who would look good on any man's arms. Surely that meant there would be a great night ahead. Surely they'd dance the night away and forget about the fact that the people they wanted were with someone else. Surely there'd be plenty of good times. There wasn't. It was an absolute disaster of a night, and that's being complimentive. Ron had no interest in Padma Patil and made her feel so inadequate that it was as if she wasn't even there. He wouldn't dance, he wouldn't have fun, he would hardly speak to her, and Harry wasn't much better over on the other side, ruining his own date, Parvati's night too. It's just another case of Ron Weasley not considering anyone else's feelings but his own, and rightly deserves a place on this list. Number 2. His treatment of Ginny over her relationship with Dean Thomas. This one is a case of Ron being the overprotective brother, but in reality he came across as more abusive than protective. Initially I found it hard to understand why Ron was so bothered by Ginny's relationship with Dean. I mean, I get that he just wants the best for Ginny, but the way he carried on was completely ridiculous, as if Ginny was his property. But there was definitely more to it than what Ron let on. He was older than Ginny, and he felt like he should be leading with example in everything, but most importantly, leading in life experience. Ginny was absolutely stunningly beautiful, and it didn't take much for a lot of boys to realise that. She caught Dean Thomas's attention, the two began dating, and obviously there's going to be displays of affection, including kissing. Ron went in on Ginny for kissing Dean, but in retaliation, his sister nailed it on the head. Ron wasn't being protective of his baby sister, he was just being outright plain jealous. He was jealous of the fact that his little sister had started a relationship before he did, that she had kissed someone before he did, and with Harry kissing Cho and Hermione kissing Victor Krum, Ron was the only one left. This contributed greatly towards him pushing the relationship with Lavender Brown. He wasn't really keen on her, but there was no way he could fall behind the rest of the group, especially his baby sister. It was pretty immature on Ron's behalf to behave in such a way, and it once again highlights how insecure Ron was with himself, and it's clear as day that this is one of the worst things he has done. Number 1. Deserting Harry and Hermione. I'm probably correct to assume that most of you were expecting this one, and rightly so, as it was hands down the worst thing Ron Weasley has ever done. As the search for the means to destroy the Horcrux began to take its toll on the trio, cracks began to form and tensions began to rise. Every Death Eater was on the look for Harry Potter. People were going missing daily. Voldemort had infiltrated and took over the Ministry of Magic through Pye's thick knees, and Ron was worrying about the welfare of his family. Wearing the locket didn't bring out the evil side of Ron. It brought out the harsh truth of the situation, and he let Harry know exactly how he felt, and Harry didn't hold back either. Ron decided to part ways with Harry and this crazy road they were on, and what's worse, then gives Hermione an ultimatum, forcing her to choose between her love for him and her duty to Harry and the rest of the wizarding world in the fight against Lord Voldemort. It's no secret that Harry was running out of time and was so far away from being able to destroy the locket that it was beginning to seem impossible. With all that happening, Ron still left them both. When things were at their worst, he walked away, which is the absolute worst thing he's ever done. In addition to that, he put himself in immediate danger by leaving the safety of the tent and Hermione's protection charms. He could have been captured, tortured and killed in order to get to Harry. Ron failed to realise his importance to the trio. He was invaluable. His relationship to Harry alone was reason enough for him to stay safe. The locket assisted him in realising all the negative truths, but blinded his own self-worth. I know Ron found his way back to Harry and Hermione and even helped destroy the Horcrux, but it was pretty unforgivable, ditching his friends in their moment of need, and it takes the top spot on this list. There you have it everyone, that is the 5 worst things Ron Weasley has ever done. If you'd like to add something, then please feel free to do so in the comments section below. If the comments are disabled, please note I did not disable them myself. YouTube just keeps automatically doing so, and I'm not sure why. I've contacted them so many times. But anyway, I will always turn the comments section back on if that's the case. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all for the very next video.